There's a moment in Fellowship of the Rings that I never really understood in the film. But I am currently reading the books, and I just found an absolute gem of information about one of the most brilliant moments of our very own Samwise Gamgee. It happens in this moment, which is totally different from the books as well. In the movie, the Fellowship gets on the banks of the river, and there they're going to wait till nightfall to pass the other side. So they make camp, and Boromir follows Frodo and nearly takes the ring from Frodo, and you all know what happens after this. Frodo puts on the ring, runs, and finds Aragorn, who comforts Frodo and gives him a bit of understanding for how the Fellowship must break. Then they face a whole horde of orcs, which the Fellowship of the Ring does not end with this. It just ends with their breaking. So I am very curious if in the Two Towers it will start with this battle scene, or if this battle scene will just not be in existence at all. Maybe the entire movie of Fellowship of the Rings felt like they had to end on a strong note of this battle scene, but so far the books don't have that at all. But anyway, they fight through these orcs in the movie, and then Boromir dies. And again, let me tell you my surprise in the end of this book, because they haven't met this orc company yet and the Fellowship is still breaking. So it's not really because of the orcs that they're breaking, it's because Frodo knows that they must break and they're all going in different directions. All of them want to go to Minas Tirith, to be honest. And Frodo doesn't think that they should do it. And it's one of the most brilliant moments for Samwise, because I always thought Sam in the movie was just hiding away from the battle. But when I read it, he was the only one who was actually thinking straight. In the books, Boromir comes back to the Fellowship camp, which is on the riverbank, and tells them what happened, which is crazy. Aragorn is a bit pissed and he's a bit salty, and this is what the book says. "Is that all you have to say?" said Aragorn, looking hard and not too kindly at Boromir. "Yes," he answered. "I will say no more." "This is bad," cried Sam, jumping up. "I don't know what this man has been up to. Why should Mr. Frodo put the thing on? He didn't ought to have. And if he has, goodness knows what may have happened." And so all the Fellowship spring to their feet and attempt to find Frodo. And the first person on their feet is Sam. His bravery and loyalty is in full effect. And not only his bravery and loyalty, but his smartness. Listen to what this passage says in the books. "How long is it since you last saw Frodo?" Boromir asked Aragorn. "Half an hour, maybe," he answered. "Or it might be an hour. I have wandered for some time since. I do not know. I do not know." He put his head in his hands and sat as if bowed with grief. Let's pause here for a moment and notice the grief of Boromir. I love this man so much. Again, he is probably my favorite character in the entire series so far. Anyway, back to the book. "An hour since he vanished," shouted Sam. "We must try to find him at once. Come on." "Wait a moment," cried Aragorn. "We must divide up into pairs and arrange. Here, hold on." "Wait." It was no good. They took no notice of him. Sam had dashed off first. Merry and Pippin had followed, and were already disappearing westward into the trees by the shore, shouting, "Frodo! Frodo!" in their clear, high hobbit voices. Legolas and Gimli were running. A sudden panic or madness seemed to have fallen on the company. "We shall all be scattered and lost," groaned Aragorn. "Boromir, I do not know what part you've played in this mischief, but help now. Go after those two young hobbits and guard them at least, even if you cannot find Frodo. Come back to this spot if you find him, or any traces of him. I shall return soon." Aragorn sprang swiftly away and went in pursuit of Sam. Just as he reached the little lawn among the rowans, he overtook him, toiling uphill, panting and calling, "Frodo!" "Come with me, Sam," he said. "None of us should be alone. There's mischief about, I feel it. I am going to the top, to the seat of Amon Hen, to see what may be. And look, it is as my heart guessed. Frodo went this way. Follow me and keep your eyes open." He sped up the path. And let me pause here by saying that this is weird that the Fellowship is breaking and they're all just kind of in a ruckus right here. I feel like the Ring is actually doing this. It's really strange, but maybe I'll talk about that in another video. Here's the book again. Sam did his best, but he could not keep up with Strider, the ranger, and soon fell behind. He had not gone far before Aragorn was out of sight ahead. Sam stopped and puffed. Suddenly, he clapped his hand to his head. "Whoa, Sam Gamgee," he said aloud. "Your legs are too short. Use your head. Let me see now. Boromir isn't lying. That's not his way. But he hasn't told us everything. Something scared Mr. Frodo badly. He screwed himself up to the point sudden. He made up his mind at least to go. Where to? Off east? Not without Sam. Yes, without even Sam? That's hard, cruel hard. Sam passed his hand over his eyes, brushing away the tears. Steady, Gamgee, he said. Think, if you can. He can't fly across rivers, and he can't jump waterfalls. He's got no gear. So, he's got to get back to the boats. Back to the boats, Sam, like lightning. Sam turned and bolted down the path. He fell and cut his knees. Up he got and ran on. He came to the edge of the lawn of Parath Gallen by the shore, where the boats were drawn up out of the water. No one was there. There seemed to be cries in the woods behind, but he did not heed them. He stood gazing for a moment, stock still, gaping. A boat was sliding down the bank all by itself. With a shout, Sam raced across the grass. The boat slipped in the water. Coming, Mr. Frodo, coming, called Sam, and flung himself from the bank, clutching at the departing boat. He missed it by a yard. With a cry and a splash, he fell face downward into the deep, swift water. Gurgling, he went under, and the river closed over his curly head. And we all know the rest here. Frodo and Sam go with each other and become companions as the fellowship breaks. But there is a beautiful moment in the books too where Sam is just in a rush and he's saying things that actually make Frodo laugh. This is the last section I want to read in the books. Now, Sam, said Frodo, don't hinder me. The others will be coming back at any minute. If they catch me here, I shall have to argue and explain. I shall never have the heart or chance to get off. But I must go at once. It is the only way. Of course it is, answered Sam, but not alone. I'm coming too, or neither of us is going. I'll knock holes in all the boats first. Frodo actually laughed. The sudden warmth and gladness touched his heart. Leave one, he said. We'll need it. But you can't come like this without your gear or food or anything. This is so brilliant of Sam. First of all, he shows bravery. Second of all, he shows his smarts. And third of all, just his absolute loyalty here to Frodo is beautiful. It made me sit back and just love his character. All the other fellowship gets off and rushes to attempt to find Frodo. And Sam, who knows Frodo best, sits back and thinks about where he would be and what he would do. And he was right. So now when I watch the movies and I watch this scene, I won't think Sam is being cowardly and hiding from the battle. But I'll remember that he's actually being the wisest of the fellowship in this moment. And I love him so much for that. But I am making my way through the books. I listened to it once and I'm actually going to reread the books, not listen to it. I'm going to reread the books much slower to find all the hidden gems that I missed. I'm very excited to go through Fellowship of the Ring slowly. So if you want more of the hidden gems I find and want to follow on the journey, make sure you subscribe. Go check out the podcast, Fellowship of the First Time Readers, and like the video and tell all your online friends about a kid who is nerding out about his first time reading Fellowship of the Ring. And I'll see you in the next one.